when it's come to the construction piece, we definitely see more development going on. As I was driving over here, I noticed in the middle of what I thought was a solid block, there's a big empty space. So here you have a residential block, majority of privately owned homes with a big gap. So I'm saying, wow, like that's going to change the look of the street, and that's sad.
So that was a vacant lot, but you're seeing...
No, it was a home. A couple of months ago, there was actually a house there.
Oh.
So whomever purchased it, there's air rights, you can go higher, right? So now it's no longer going to be a two-family home, maybe be a 3 or 4 stories, and that's going to change the whole look of the block.
Wow, okay.
You know, so there's a lot of that going on. It's hit and miss.
Was that on one of the avenues, or was one of...
No, on a side street,
On a side
on
street?
Woolwick, which is like basically up the block from where we are now. So as I drive through the neighborhood, you see a lot of that.
Okay.
And that's a little...
I'll have to check how far you can go up on that block, but you're saying basically that this redevelopment is happening.
It's happening.
And this
right, it's happening.
demolitions.
I say in the past we would get, not that there was not construction, and then not rows of homes were being built, but it was 2-story homes. Like condos type environment, not buildings, you know, whereas multi-dwelling. That's definitely changing the flavor. And what's being constructed is 1-bedroom studios. So they're not looking for the bigger family, the whole dinner on Sunday, you know, with 10 to 12 people, the culture that many of us know and come from. Yeah.
You've also told me about getting harassed as a homeowner. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It's ridiculous. I definitely, I at this point, I don't know how. I have a new email address. And to that new email address, I'm getting emails.
Wow.
So I don't bother picking up the calls anymore if I just don't know who it is, or if I do happen to pick up a call, I hit reject button.
Wow.
So now I just have a slew of people that are on my do not call list. They're being pretty creative. So now we have 718 numbers calling, the 516 numbers, 631, 212 numbers. So at one point it was a number you wouldn't recognize. Absolutely not anymore.
What do you think are the next, so what are the next steps do you think that need to be taken by either organizers or elected officials to ensure that East New York doesn't lose the culture that you value?
I think we soon need to sit down. The summer is coming. It's a great time for community walkthroughs and explore what we have, maybe some of the gardens, and take a heartfelt conversation. And see, just going back a year, you know, what have we lost? What are we about to lose? You know, I recently took a trip to Montgomery, Alabama, and to Atlanta. And when you experience that, it gives you like, wow. You know, civic engagement is much more important to me now, I think, and getting the word out on how we have to conserve what we have. And maybe a clearer understanding. It's a lot of what you've learned through history, at least for me, went from paper to reality. And to stand somewhere, like someone like Ceci Torre-Mullane, who was a big mentor of mine, so much that she gave to the Cypress Hills community. She's no longer with us in flesh, but in spirit. She's gone, and other than Cypress Hills as an organization, what do we have that tells the story?
Are you saying that in Montgomery, Alabama, there were sort of like markers to tell us about the history of the civil rights history, and
Yes.
you want to see
I want
markers here?
Oh, definitely markers.
Okay.
Definitely want to see markers. We have the National Cemetery that's here, Cypress Hills Local Development Corporation, you know, all the work that they've done. We have a couple of schools that have come up through this community struggle. You know, George Washington came in through Highland Park. You know, we have a reservoir that we've been advocating for. There's a lot of history that somehow we have to find means to keep it, at least known. You know, I welcome my new neighbors. You know, I don't have an issue with some of the changes, you know, in the community. That's not my bigger issue. My bigger issue is let's try to keep some of what we've worked so hard to obtain and what's made Cypress Hills East New York attractive.